Yes, hello guys, welcome back to the Port Report. Oh, I needed a few days off after last week's scathing review, and I'm glad to say that I'm feeling a bit more refreshed after 10 days.
And it's been 10 days without you in my reach.
I hope that just didn't cut to a Missy Higgins song, did it? It did, didn't it? Right, we're into round 4. We're playing the Saints on Sunday at home. So obviously disappointed after last week's Essendon embarrassment. Now it's a new week and a new chance to turn it all around. Let's look at some of the stories of the week. So to start off, the Kane Farrell signing. So Faz is signed for 5 years and that will time to around 2030. And I think that's a pretty big signing for Port. It's crucial seeing as Dan Houston's left. So he's trying to fill that void at the moment. He's 26 years old, has a penetrating left foot, and he is due to play his 100th game this year. So I think for players like this, their best comes between 100 and 150 games. So I don't think we've seen the best of Farrell yet, which is really exciting. I think he's really important, especially with Houston gone, as I mentioned, with the likes of Josh Sin and Logan Evans still quite young or inexperienced. Farrell provides that opportunity to run the defence and to start all our plays with that left foot. Next up, Retro Guernsey. This is a great one, really. One of my old favourites, the old Lightning Guernsey. Brings back great memories of the early 2000s, and I'm really looking forward to seeing us run out with it on Sunday. I think Port have nailed all our heritage and our recent retro Guernseys and one-offs, like bringing back all the old Port Power home in a way, and the tri-bolt, that's my personal favourite. I really wish we'd wear that tri-bolt during the season. Asava Radaglia is playing 100 games this week. So yeah, interesting signing from Geelong. I was really keen on him when he first come over. He hasn't quite lived up to the expectation, but he's only played 100 games. So I'm really optimistic that the next 50 games could be something special if he just gets his composure down. So he played 23 games last year, which is by far the most he's played in a season. So that's a big chunk of experience. He can only be better for it. And if you really look into it, him and Alir, when they came to the club, they're actually in really similar positions. So I think Alir had maybe 50, 60 games under his belt. Asava had 70 odd games, so pretty similar, both looking for a position, and Alir's story turned out pretty good. So again, I'm really hoping for the best for Asava. There's a spot there for him. I just want to see him play another full season and lock down a spot. I don't think the news gets any bigger than Zach Butters returning, so great news for the club. You almost forget how good Butsy is and all the accolades he's won in such an early age, but he's just an absolute junkyard dog and was much needed this week against the Saints, and we really could have used him last week. So he's just going to instantly add class and toughness to our team, but he's also going to free up Horn Francis and Rosie if the tag gets applied to him. So really keen to see him run back out, and I hope he has a big year and hopefully a big future with Port. Yeah, so we got the Sainters on Sunday, and in fact we've got the wood over them in the last probably 5 to 6 games, but interestingly the last 5 games we've all won, but they've been between 14 and under points, so that's pretty interesting. We've had some tight tussles, especially at Marvel Stadium, and yeah, it looks like Kenny and Rossi go head to head, and so far we've got the chocolates, but again we had an 8-game streak against Essendon and we blew that last week, so I really need this win this week. So Saints were written off pretty early in the season. We smashed them in the preseason game, then they came to Adelaide, and it's a big ask for them to take on the Crows, and they got belted by the Crows as well. But since then they've gone on and beat the Cats, which is a massive win for any club, and then they tidied up Richmond last week. So I had a quick look over this game. At halftime was actually pretty close. The Saints were only 8 points up to the Tigers, but after that they blew them away, kicking 14 goals to 2 in the second half and ran away, I think, 82-point victors. So big win. It's expected for a team, but I think they're slowly getting some respect, and they're definitely keen to come over here and get that scalp of a Adelaide team and make up for their round 1 loss. So some of their key players I think we need to watch out for. One is Jack Sinclair. He's in great form at the moment, playing off half-back and getting some middle time, but he had 40 touches last week. He's averaging over 30 touches, and he's in really good form, so he's pretty dangerous. He accumulates and he uses the ball really well. The big one's Jack McRae coming over from the Bulldogs, so he's gone back into the midfield, something that he was probably starved off at the Bulldogs for the last few years, and he's just picking it up at the moment. And I've knocked him before on his effectiveness and how he uses the ball, but it seems like he's slowly creeping up in how he's using it, and it must have a positive effect for Saints, because they've won 2 on the trot. This guy, I think, is an absolute gun. Rowan Marshall, their ruckman. So he's probably not the best tap ruckman, but his impact around the ground is massive, and his ability to move forward and make an impact on the scoreboard is something that we need to look at as well. So I'm really happy that we've dropped one ruckman and now we're going with just Geordie Sweet. I think he's got the ability to run with him all day, but it's a big ask because Rowan Marshall is very good at his craft. Yeah, one more I just want to talk about, and that's Marcus Winhager. So he's come back into the team recently. He is an interesting guy. He's a specialist run with player, so he's really good at clamping down on players, and I expect him probably go to Zach Butters, which is stiff for Butsy in his first game back, but I think they'll go to the most talented player, which is Butsy, and he's good at clamping down, but he's also good at making you hurt a little bit, so he can get up to 15, 20 touches in a game as well. What that really means is depends who gets it. I'm sure it's going to be Butters. Then it's time now for Rosie and Horne-Francis to really step up and make him hurt, and that's probably the advantage of having that holy trinity of those three is if one gets tagged, then there's 2 more, even 3 if you throw in Wines, to try and spread this Saints team out and make him hurt. All right, let's go into team selection. So I waited a little bit longer because we had the Sunday game on to make sure who is actually going to play, and I'm pretty happy with our in. So first we've got Soldo making way, which is a great omission after his poor showing last week. Travis Boakes being rested, and also Cochrane, the debut, he is out for the week. So a little bit stiff, but he only played a quarter, so he'll be better for it having a run in the Maggies. Now these ins, I'm really, really, really happy with these ins. So Lockie Jones is coming back after that soft tissue injury. Ollie Lord, big Lordie's back in, and he'll obviously slot up forward and add some more structure to our forward line. Like last week, Georgiades completely tore the game apart in the first quarter, and then he ran out of gas, and there really was no one else with the likes of Lukosius and Marshall injured. So I think that was pretty evident. If it was no Georgiades, no Port. Finally, our boy Butsy, we just touched on him, how important he is and how good of a player he is. So he's going to slot back into the middle, and I really hope he just goes bang against the Saints. Right, let's have a look at that defence, starting from the back pocket. We've got Josh Sin, Alir, Miles Bergman, Lockie Jones, Asava, and Kane Farrell. So I like the 2 bigs to shore up the defence, and then our smalls have got a nice mix of defenders and ball users. So again, I say it every week, good defence, young, a little bit inexperienced, but I think we'll be better for it in the long run. Okay, let's look at our midfield. So we got Christian Moraes, who has been unbelievable. He had 27 touches last week, and in his 3rd game, he's already locked down a wing spot. We've got Connor Rosie in the middle. We've got Jace Bergwijn, who was exceptional last week as well on the wing. Now, looking in the on-ball, we've got Geordie Sweet as a ruckman, Horne-Francis and Butters. So, wow, that's a massive midfield, completely stacked full of young talent. So, yeah, the time is now, guys. Show us what we're made of. Yeah, let's finish with the forward line. So, we've got Jackson Mead, half forward, Georgiades, Willie Rioli, Darcy Byrne, Pal Pepper, Joe Richards. So, obviously, Ollie Lord's not named there. He's on the bench, but he should definitely be in that forward line. Makes it with 2 tools and then a bunch of, pressure forwards and some nice small forwards to add to the mix. On the bench, we got Joe Berry, Ollie Wines, William Drew, Lord, and Logan Evans. Interesting because normally there's a real standout for a sub. Looking at this, I can't see Wines, Drew, or Lord being a sub. So Logan Evans would be an unusual one. So my indication is probably going to be Joe Berry as the starting sub. All right, guys, last week was bullshit. This week, I'm optimistic. Let's just go again. We're 1-2. We can win a game here. We're 2-2. And then who really knows, right? So you just never know. But I said it last week, attitude and effort. That's all I want is a good attitude and players that want to put the effort in. And win or lose, then we should always be proud. But in saying that, I definitely want to beat St Kilda. I can't stand losing to a club like that. It sounds arrogant, but definitely need the Saints win. All right, guys, been a pleasure. Catch ya.